What is up, Social Mafia? Welcome back to my channel. As I promised, it's gonna be a set of videos where I'm gonna explain you every single important details on Instagram, and if you missed the first part, you can check it right here. I'm also gonna leave the link in the description box. And in today's video, as I said in my previous video, we're gonna talk about how to create story highlights. It's gonna be a really creative video, and I'm also gonna share with you a trick how to upload story highlights without putting it into your actual stories. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell button, and don't forget to follow By Social Mafia Instagram account, the Instagram account where I'm sharing a lot of tips and tricks. And this Instagram is for you guys, for the community of Social Mafia. And if you're wondering how to use social media marketing, especially Instagram, to grow your business, this Instagram is just right for you. And there in the bio description, you can already find a lot of freebies that I created for you, and also you can submit a form for collaboration. And let's dive into the video. Why story highlights are so important, and why I'm dedicating the whole video on how to create the covers for the story highlight. And the point here is when you open an Instagram account, and you can see these lifetime stories, and then if you put really nice story highlights, it gives overall this really pleasing aesthetical look in order to make your feed to look consistent, just like as a professional magazine. The covers of your story highlights will give this really nice cohesive look. And the major point here is once someone is opening your Instagram account and they don't follow you yet, or maybe they do follow you, Instagram algorithm, what it counts is that the longer the user stay on your Instagram account, Instagram thinks that your account and the content that you produce is interesting for this person, and that's why Instagram is going to push your content. Once you publish a new story, a new video, or a new picture, it's going to push it to this person. And the story highlights helps users first of all to get really important information. If you do some discounts, promos, some really important stuff, so always put it into the story highlights in different sections. For the new person, it's really hard to understand what exactly you're doing, what's the value for this person to start following your account. And the story highlights gives a really gives this insight for the new user to start learning more about your personality and about the content that you produce on your Instagram account. In order for people to click on the story highlight and start researching about your Instagram account, you really need to be creative and come with something really cool for the covers, because covers for the story highlights works just as thumbnails for YouTube or thumbnail for IGTV on Instagram. And let's begin with the tutorial on how to create really cool covers for the story highlights. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 methods. 2 of these methods are really simple, and all we need to do is to use Canva. You guys know that I'm a fan of Canva, and if you don't use it yet, make sure to start using it right away. And the third method that I'm going to show is going to be a little bit more for the experienced users, because I'm going to be working in Photoshop. If you guys really like the third method, you don't need to purchase Photoshop. You can download it for free for 30 days by registering just with your name. And then of course afterwards you will have to pay, but 30 days are enough to create really cool covers for your story highlight. And let's jump to the first method. And the first method, we use an app that's called, let me check what's the name of the app. There are actually a lot of apps like this. Well, basically what we will need to do is to identify your major color on your Instagram feed. And for this, I found a really simple service, which is called Color Cooler. So alright guys, what we need to do on this app is just insert your username. I'm gonna use my personal Instagram account, it's Lemuria. Alright, go ahead and click OK. We're not gonna register here, and since you can download your palette in a kind of weird format, that's what we're not gonna do. We'll just make a print screen, because all we need to do is to get this palette, and afterwards I show you why we need that. Alright, done. That's the first step. The next step is I'm gonna open my desktop version of Canva. Of course, guys, you can do it on your phone, but I really like to work with Canva on desktop because you have a bigger resolution, bigger screen, and you can work with details and more precisely, because Canva app is not really user-friendly from my point of view, so that's why I really prefer to work on desktop. And Canva is absolutely for free. It's a graphic design tool. So alright guys, the next thing that we will need to do is to go to Canva. We're gonna create here Instagram story. We'll choose the Instagram story template. I'll start with blank, and the next thing that we're gonna do is upload to this website Color Picker Online, and here we're gonna pick the colors for the solid background for our stories, highlights, covers. For example, I really like this one, and you just can click this button and it's going to be copied. And the next thing we're going to do is go to the colors and a new color, and here we're going to insert the color that we just copied. We're going to do it like this, the next story, and we'll choose the next color like this, for example. I'll just again copy it and insert the color over here, the same step. So once you're happy and you inserted as many colors as you want for your covers, you can enhance it with different elements. Here you have some top elements that are really nice, for example this one, or some leaves, and they're gonna be pretty central, and then you just can make it a little bit smaller. You can even add text. Here you have different already pre-made text, or you can choose add any kind of text, and for example we're going to choose this one. We will edit, write something like a story cover, and here you can change the font of this text over here. It offers a lot of different really cool fonts, and you can just make it a little bit bigger, and here you go. It's actually ready. It's really upon your imagination and your creativity. I really like the covers for your story highlights when it's just a solid background. So you can do it this way, or you can do another way, which I'm going to be sharing later. So once you're happy with the result, you can just download it or open your Canva app, and it's going to be, if it's synchronized with the same account, these stories will appear in your Canva account on your phone. And yeah, you can just download and insert it into your stories highlights, which I'm going to share with you later how to do that. The method number 2 is using textures for the covers of your story highlights, and for this you can use any free stock images platforms. For example, Unsplash, you just write textures, or you can Google it, but make sure you use the images that are for free, royalty free. I'm gonna use, as for the sake of this example for this video, Pinterest, because it's the best platform for me to get some inspiration, but of course you have to make sure that you use royalty free images. I'm just gonna go to Pinterest and we'll start typing textures, and here you can choose any kind of textures that fit your Instagram profile. For example, this marble one looks really cool, and down here you can choose something similar, and you can save these images and insert it as the covers for the story highlights. And honestly, this kind of texture doesn't need anything extra, because by itself it looks really cool. And the coolest thing about this, so once you download this image, and you can go to your story highlights, edit highlight, and then edit cover, and then I'm gonna choose this image. And what you can do is you can, choose different parts of this background for different categories of your story highlights, so it looks a little bit different, not the same, but in the same style, but you have different patterns on the cover. And we are gonna move to the method number 3, which is a little bit more complicated, because we're gonna work with Photoshop. Let me jump to my screen so I can start sharing it with you. Here we are, and the next thing that we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and click the new template, and here I already prepared the width for Instagram story cover is the same as a story format, which is 1080 by 1920, and we're gonna go ahead and click create, but make sure that you tick this artboard button, and we're gonna create it. You'll have to create as many covers as you need by clicking on this button and artboard, and then you just click plus sign. For example, I'm just gonna create 3, and again we're gonna use a solid background. I really need to create new covers for the By Social Mafia Instagram account, and for the sake of this I'm gonna use the colors that I use normally here. For example, this one, I'm just gonna copy the color code and go back to Photoshop and insert this. I'm just gonna click solid background and choose the color that we want. We'll just place it here, the one that we already copied from Canva. Here we go. For this art board, we're gonna use another one. For this type of covers, I want to create curvy text. I really like how this curvy text looks, and for this what we need to do is we will need to choose this ellipse tool, and here we will need to choose path, and we're gonna create now the circle. Move it central. Here you go. I think that's fine. And the next thing, we'll just click type text. Here you can type the text that you want for your story highlights. For example, I'm gonna write your success. All right. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna transform it a bit and make it like this. All right. I'm happy with the result. And then next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy and paste it and insert it in the next story highlights. Here I'm gonna change the text, so I'm gonna change the text color to white. It is ready, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just go ahead, save to your computer. I'm gonna save it as PNG format or JPEG, it's up to you. Go ahead and click save. Okay, I think I'm just gonna send this to my phone. All right, the next thing, we're gonna insert it to the Instagram story covers, and I'm gonna show you how you can do it without actually publishing it into stories, the covers for your story highlight. So we're gonna go to my By Social Mafia account. Here we're gonna create new, and I just, for example, I want to add YouTube, the first thing. Next, edit cover. So here you can basically choose your story highlights cover, and here we're gonna choose the one that we created for the videos. Place it like this. Click done, and here you go. And the last one is gonna be your successes. I'll just use something like this, and then go ahead and click next, edit cover, choose the last one, your successes, put it like this, and here you go. The covers for your story highlights are ready, and it's actually really a lot about creativity and a lot about what you publish on your Instagram account. I just show you 3 methods because this kind of putting the line icons is not really trendy anymore, because I see people put this as the covers for their story highlights, but personally I really don't like it. I don't like how it looks really messy, it looks really busy. So be a little bit more creative, create something that is really consistent with your Instagram account. All right guys, that was it for today. In the next video that is going to be published on Tuesday, as always, I'm going to be sharing about different types of Instagram account that is trending right now, and we will look what type of images you can publish, what type of content is trending right now. Make sure to turn notification bell button to not miss this video, and if there is any comments or questions or ideas for the next video, make sure to write it in the comments, because I create content based on your requests.